Welcome to Dev Delight, Development Done Right, and today I'm going to be solving a LeetCode problem, number 56, merge intervals. Let's get started. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Merge intervals. Given a collection of intervals, merge all overlapping intervals. Now, this is a common type of problem. Sometimes they call it intervals, sometimes they call this meetings, but basically you're usually given an input of arrays and you need to merge those numbers which overlap. So for example, if you have an interval 1 and 3 and 2 and 6, 2 falls between 1 and 3. So they want you to merge it into 1 and 6. How can we do that? Well, it's a three-step process that you can utilize for other merge interval problems as well. Step 1 is always turning intervals into points. Step 2 will be sorting those points. And step 3, processing those points. Alright, so to process and turn these intervals into points, we can do this. We can extract the first and the start time and the end time of the interval. And what we can do here is either create a class and what this class will do is keep track of the point, such as X or Y, and if it's a start or end point. So if it's start, it would be true. If it's end point, it would be false. And we need to push all these points also into an array. So we can push new point. X would be the time and start would be true. And for Y, it would be the same thing, except obviously it would be Y, and this would be false. But there's also another way to represent this without the class, which will save you time when writing code and probably easier to look at. So let's get rid of this class points. Or it should have been a class point anyway. Instead, we can directly push into an array and we can push an object. So time is X and is start true. Same thing for the Y, except is start false. Let's print this out. So you can take a look of how these points look like. Alright, so don't worry about the wrong answer because we're not finished. I'm just showing you the output really quick. So this is how these points will look like. Time is start true, 3 is start false. You see, they're separated in its own objects. So here we need to sort by time. We need this 2 to show up before the 3. And we need to sort by is start. Because sometimes one meeting can end at the same time as another meeting is beginning. But we need to have the meeting that's beginning in front of our array if they both start at the same time. So how do we sort this? points sort. You should already know how sorting works in JavaScript. If not, I have a video on my channel that you can check out. So first we're gonna check if the times are equal. If it is, we need to check. We need to check if they both start or end at the same time. Because if they do, then that's irrelevant to us. That's the same thing. One can show before the other. Else, however, if they're not equal, we'll return it in a way where A is start. If that equals to true, it should show up before the one that ends. And if the times are not equal, then just sort it by time. So as you can see, basically, if the time of these two intervals is equal, we want to sort the one that starts before the one that ends. Otherwise, we return in ascending order by time. So we're sorting by time and by start as well. Let me remove this console.log. So the next thing we need to do is process these points. The way to do that is we're gonna keep a counter. And basically, when the meeting starts, we increase the counter by 1. When the meeting ends or the interval ends, we decrease the counter by 1. That way we know meeting started, it becomes 1, meeting ended, it becomes 0. What if 2 meetings start? So the counter will become 1 and then 2. So the counter lets us know if there's an overlap of the interval or meeting, whatever you want to call it, or not. Also, let's create a new points array where we'll keep all the new intervals that we process, okay? And we already know if the meeting is starting or not because we use isStart flag. So what we can do is if point is start, we know the meeting has started. So as I mentioned, if the counter is 0, we know it's a new interval is beginning. So we need to keep track of that. Let's say new start. So if the meeting is starting, the counter is 0, it's a new interval that begins, and we need that point. That's why we have new start, and we'll assign time to it. And of course, we need to increase our counter. Else means the meeting is over, so we need to decrease the counter. And if the counter is equal to 0, meaning there's no meetings overlapping, right? Because if there was meetings overlapping, counter would not be 0. We know this is the final point. There's no intervals overlapping, and we need to push that to new points using our new start. And time. So this is our Y time, this is our X time. Because we're tracking X's here, is start. And every meeting or interval that ends will be here, point.time. And of course we need to return all these new points. Let's run this. Of course, I made a mistake, didn't add the arrow. And as you can see, we passed the tests and everything is working great. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Subscribe, if you didn't yet, because there's more tutorials coming. And also you can leave in a comment what you liked about the video and what other questions you want to see. I'll see you soon.